Asterisk. Asterisk. The long-awaited moment has finally arrived. Taehyung flies abroad again. With BTS, Dubai becomes a witness to a happiness long missed. Asterisk. Asterisk. Seoul. There are moments in a star's journey that cannot be measured by numbers, charts, or multi-million-dollar brand contracts. Moments that are quiet, simple, yet deeply meaningful. Today, the world witnessed one of those moments. Kim Taehyung Volt of BTS is finally flying overseas again with his members. Not alone. Not for an individual schedule. Not for a secret photo shoot or a closed-door engagement. He is traveling together with BTS, with the people who have been his home for more than a decade, and their destination, Dubai. For some, this may seem like just another international trip. For Taehyung, and for millions of fans worldwide, this is a moment that has been long awaited. An airport atmosphere unlike any other. From early morning, something felt different at the airport. There was no grand official announcement, no lengthy press briefing. Yet, fans' instincts never fail. A blurry photo circulating on Korean social media sparked everything. A tall silhouette in a black cap, a familiar backpack, a posture too recognizable to ignore. That's Taehyung. He's not alone. That's B. Within minutes, hashtags began climbing worldwide. Hashtag Taehyung, hashtag BST, gather abroad. Du, blah, prudu, pruse. When Taehyung finally appeared clearly in the departure area, one thing immediately captured everyone's attention. His smile. Not a polite smile for cameras. Not the practiced expression of an idol. It was the smile of someone who was genuinely happy. A side of Taehyung fans haven't seen in a long time. Over the past few years, fans have grown used to seeing Taehyung travel alone. Paris, London, New York. Each trip carried professionalism and elegance, but also an unspoken distance. Today was different. Taehyung walked among BTs, exchanging quiet jokes, turning his head to listen, laughing softly at something only they understood. A staff member present at the scene shared with media. Taehyung looked incredibly relaxed. Even before security checks, he laughed several times. That's not something we often see during individual schedules. Fans outside the airport noticed it instantly. His aura feels different today. He looks at home. I can finally board a plane with them again. According to an internal source close to the team, Taehyung has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Not because of the destination, not because of the schedule, but because of togetherness. The source revealed Taehyung was genuinely happy to be flying overseas with BTS again. He mentioned that sitting on a plane next to the people he grew up with feels completely different. In an industry that constantly demands performance, image, and achievement, even a simple act like sitting side by side on a flight becomes priceless. For Taehyung, this isn't just a flight. It's a reminder of who he was before the spotlight and who he still is at his core. Dubai, a destination that raises questions. The choice of Dubai immediately sparked global speculation. Is this a major project? A secret event, exclusive BTS content, or something yet to be announced? Dubai is not just any destination. It is known as a global hub for large-scale events, international collaborations, and modern luxury. Yet, insiders emphasized one thing: whatever their schedule may be, this trip holds deep emotional meaning for Taehyung. His focus is on being together rather than the agenda itself. This only strengthened fans' belief that this journey is more than work. It is the return of BTS's bond in its purest form. Fans' reactions, tears, relief, and overwhelming emotion. Across social media, fans' reactions exploded. Not simply because Taehyung appeared, but because of how he appeared. I didn't realize how much I missed seeing Taehyung with BTS until today. His smile says everything. This isn't about Dubai. This is about them being together again. Many fans admitted they cried after watching a short clip of Taehyung softly laughing as he walked toward the gate. One viral comment read, "He doesn't look happy as V, he looks happy as Taehyung." More than just a trip. In the Korean entertainment industry, overseas schedules often symbolize pressure and relentless work. But today, this moment feels different. It's not about performance, not about numbers, not about achievements. It's about a long missing moment finally returning. Taehyung boards the plane. BTS stands beside him, and the world witnesses something simple, yet incredibly powerful. Inside the flight, the quiet joy Taehyung couldn't hide as the boarding gate closed and the aircraft prepared for departure. Something rare unfolded quietly away from flashing cameras and screaming headlines. For Taehyung, this was the moment that truly mattered. Not the airport, not the destination announcement, but the space in between. The flight itself. According to multiple sources familiar with the journey, the atmosphere inside the aircraft was noticeably different from previous overseas schedules. In recent years, there was no visible tension, no heavy silence, no rigid separation. Instead, there was laughter, low voices, familiar rhythms. One staff member later described it as, "It felt like old times. Calm, comfortable, almost nostalgic." Taehyung's seat and what it symbolized. Taehyung took his seat casually, headphones resting loosely around his neck rather than over his ears. This detail may seem insignificant, but for those who have traveled with him before, it stood out immediately. Usually, Taehyung retreats inward during flights. Music on, hood pulled low, a quiet bubble. This time, he didn't. He leaned slightly toward the member beside him, listened, smiled, responded. At one point, he laughed softly at first, then openly. A nearby staff member recalled, he wasn't isolating himself. He was present, fully present. That presence, fans would later say, was everything. Small moments, big meaning. Halfway through the flight, something happened that never made it into official schedules but spread quietly among staff and later media insiders. Taehyung looked around at the members, then said quietly, "It's been a while since all of us were on a plane like this." There was a brief pause. No dramatic response. No speeches. Just nods. Soft smiles. Shared understanding. One insider explained, no one needed to say much. They all felt it. In an industry that constantly pushes forward, this moment allowed them briefly to look back. Why this flight meant so much to Taehyung. For years, Taehyung has carried the weight of individual schedules with remarkable grace. Global fashion weeks, solo appearances, international campaigns. Yet those close to him have long noted something important. Taehyung values shared experiences more than personal spotlight. This flight represented something he had missed deeply, not fame, not travel, but collective movement. Moving forward together, arriving together, existing in the same moment. A source close to the group stated, this wasn't just about Dubai. For T, it was about reclaiming a feeling he thought he had to put on hold. The word that keeps appearing, relief. As images and short clips from the airport spread globally, one word kept surfacing across fan reactions, media commentary, and industry analysis. Relief, not excitement, not shock. Relief. Fans described it as finally seeing Taehyung breathe. He looks lighter. He looks safe. He looks like he's where he belongs. Psychologists who study idol fan dynamics even commented on Korean forums that moments like these help stabilize not only the artist but the fandom itself, because what fans saw was not performance. It was authenticity. Dubai awaits. But the story isn't about Dubai. As the aircraft approached its destination, anticipation grew globally. But something unusual happened. The focus wasn't on luxury hotels, not on rumored events, not on brand speculation. The focus remained firmly on Taehyung and BTS together. Major fan accounts paused their usual prediction threads and instead posted still images from the airport with simple captions, "Together again. This is enough. Welcome back." One international media outlet summarized it best. For once, the destination doesn't matter. The journey does. Industry insiders take notice. Behind the scenes, the entertainment industry noticed something else. When BTS moves together, the global atmosphere shifts. Luxury brands, event organizers, and international partners reportedly monitored the departure closely, not for announcements, but for signals. A marketing executive based in Europe stated, "There's a difference between individual star power and collective presence." This flight signaled the latter. For Taehyung in particular, this moment reaffirmed his unique position, not just as a global icon, but as a core emotional axis within BTS. What happens when Taehyung is truly happy? Those who have worked with Taehyung for years know this pattern well. When he feels supported, connected, and grounded, his creativity deepens. He becomes more open, more expressive, more daring. A longtime collaborator once said, "Taehyung's best moments come when he feels emotionally safe." This flight, many believe, marks the beginning of such a phase. A quiet promise, unspoken. As the plane landed and the wheels touched the runway in Dubai, Taehyung looked out the window briefly. No cameras, no waves. No gestures, just a small smile. Those who saw it understood. This wasn't the smile of arrival. It was the smile of returning to something he never truly left, his bond with BTS. Arrival in Dubai. When the world watched, Taehyung looked at his members first. When the aircraft doors finally opened and the warm air of Dubai entered the cabin, the atmosphere shifted subtly, but unmistakably. This was no longer just a flight. This was an arrival. Yet, what caught the attention of those present was not the grandeur of Dubai, nor the international protocol quietly waiting outside. It was Taehyung's first instinct. Before adjusting his jacket, before reaching for his phone, before stepping into the aisle, Taehyung turned to look at his members. A brief glance, a quiet smile, a shared nod. To outsiders, it meant nothing. To those who understood BTS, it meant everything. A welcome that was carefully controlled but impossible to contain. Dubai authorities and event organizers had prepared meticulously. Security lines were clear. Vehicles were positioned. Routes were secured. But BTS's presence always carries a gravity of its own. Despite strict controls, word had already spread. They were here together. Local staff members later admitted that even before BTS stepped out of the terminal, tension mixed with awe filled the air. One airport staff member shared anonymously, "We've handled many global stars, but this felt different." There was a sense that something important was happening. When Taehyung finally stepped onto Dubai's soil, his expression shifted not into awe, but into calm, almost grounding. Taehyung's energy after landing, calm, bright, real. Fans who later saw short clips noticed it immediately. Taehyung wasn't he overwhelmed? He wasn't distant. He wasn't guarded. He walked comfortably among BTs, shoulders relaxed, posture open. A staff member traveling with the group noted, usually after long flights, everyone focuses on logistics. Taehyung focused on people. He exchanged quiet words with members, checked if everyone was okay, laughed when one member joked about the heat. It was the Taehyung fans remembered the one who thrives in shared space. The first private moment no one filmed. Once inside the vehicle convoy, away from public view, something happened that would later circulate quietly among staff as a defining moment of the trip. Taehyung leaned back in his seat and exhaled deeply, not out of exhaustion, but relief. According to a source inside the vehicle, he said, It feels good to be moving together again. That was all. No dramatics, no grand statements. But those words lingered because they revealed something raw. This wasn't about schedules. This wasn't about exposure. This was about belonging. Why Korean media is calling this emotionally historic. Within hours of BTS's arrival, Korean media began using a phrase that surprised even industry veterans. Emotionally historic, not record-breaking, not emotionally historic. Analysts explained why. This is one of the rare moments where fans are not responding to content, but to emotional alignment. Taehyung's visible happiness alongside BTS resonates deeply. For years, fans supported individual journeys, but what they witnessed here was reconnection. The ripple effect across the global fandom. Time zones didn't matter. As Dubai slept, Europe woke. As Europe reacted, the Americas joined. Asia followed in waves. Fan bases coordinated not promotions but reflections. Posts shifted tone. This feels healing. I didn't know I needed this. Taehyung looks like himself again. One major international fan account paused all usual updates and posted a single sentence. Sometimes, seeing them together is enough. That post was shared over 200,000 times. Industry experts notice a shift in narrative. Behind the scenes, entertainment analysts observed something unusual. The narrative around Taehyung changed overnight. Instead of focusing on power, influence, or speculation, discussions turned to emotional leadership. A cultural critic wrote, Taehyung's presence stabilizes the emotional center of BT. When he is visibly content, the group's unity becomes tangible. This trip, experts say, may redefine how future BTS movements are perceived not as strategic appearances, but as intentional reunions. A question quietly growing louder as night fell in Dubai. One question began circulating quietly among fans and media alike. If this moment means so much. If Taehyung looks this at peace, if BTS feels this connected, what comes next? Is this the beginning of a new chapter, a renewed phase of collective activity, or simply a rare, precious pause before the world accelerates again? No one knows. But one thing is certain. This moment will be remembered. Not the loudest moment, but one of the truest. There were no fireworks, no grand speeches, no official statements. Yet this arrival carried weight because it wasn't designed to impress. It was real. Taehyung di dun ti ni ti ni ti say anything. His body language spoke. His smile told the story. He was where he wanted to be. The first night in Dubai, when the world went quiet, BTS finally breathed. Dubai at night is known for its brilliant lights stretching endlessly, the city humming with motion even after midnight. But for Taehyung and BTS, the first night was not about the city. It was about silence. After a day filled with controlled movements, private routes, and carefully planned logistics, the group finally reached their accommodation. Doors closed. Doors closed. Curtains drewn. The outside world paused. And in that pause, something rare happened. They rest together. A different kind of energy inside the room, according to sources close to the team. The atmosphere that night was noticeably different from previous overseas trips. No rush to isolate. No immediate retreat into personal schedules. No heavy exhaustion. Instead, there was calm. Taehyung changed into comfortable clothes and stayed in the shared space longer than usual. He didn't disappear into his room immediately. He lingered, a staff member recalled quietly. He didn't seem eager to be alone. He seemed content just being there. There was soft conversation, light laughter, moments of nothingness. the kind that only happens when people are completely at ease. The moment that moved everyone but was never filmed. Later that night, something happened that would never appear on any official footage, but would later be described by those present as the emotional core of the trip. As conversation slowed, Taehyung looked around the room and said casually, "It's been a long time since it felt this simple." No one responded immediately, not because they disagreed but because they understood. One source explained, no one needed to say anything. Everyone felt the weight of that sentence. Years of pressure, years of expectations, years of moving fast. For one night, everything slowed. Why fans are calling this a healing trip, as subtle details from the first night leaked through indirect sources officially confirmed. But widely sensed fans began using a new phrase, healing trip. Not because of luxury, not because of rest alone, but because Taehyung looked emotionally settled. Fan reactions shifted from excitement to something deeper. He looks okay. He looks comfortable. This feels healing for all of us. In fan psychology, moments like this are powerful. They reassure. They stabilize. They remind fans that behind the stage is a human being who needs connection. Taehyung's role no one talks about enough. Industry insiders began quietly discussing something that had long been known but rarely articulated. Taehyung is not just a performer. He is an emotional anchor. A senior industry observer stated, Taehyung absorbs emotion and reflects it back. When he feels calm, the environment calms with him. During this trip, that quality became visible again. He didn't dominate the space. He didn't withdraw from it either. He balanced it. Morning in Dubai, a subtle shift. When morning came, those close to the group noticed something else.